Effective communication and career plan, Sam Pandora. The types of media you have are radio, internet, magazines, and social media, and those are the ones that athletes are most likely to use. There are two types of pre-recorded interview, and that's pre-recorded and live. A pre-recorded interview is obviously an interview that's been recorded. You may have gone to a radio studio, or it might have been recorded by a film crew before edited, and by the time it's been uploaded, you've already viewed it and told them which parts you would want and which parts you would not like in it. Live, obviously, is live. You have no input on what is said and what is asked and stuff like that. You might have a kind of a brief idea of what might be asked, but you won't know everything, and you might not even know what you're going to say because you can't plan for it. Athletes may do an interview before a big game to respond to speculation in the press regarding the game ahead. That's often rehearsed. And athletes may also do interviews after games, which is a post-match interview, to publicise their opinions on the match. And these are often live, and reporters are able to gauge athletes' real emotions, and not just verbally, but their body language as well. In this video here, you can see that Gareth Bale. This video gave Gareth Bale the ability to plan his responses, and furthermore execute them better. Also, the way it was recorded and edited gave a more light-hearted, easy-going impression of Bale. However, in this interview you can see the reporter aggravating Ronaldo. This led to Ronaldo displaying his emotions and storming out. Arguably, Ronaldo could have dealt with it better and stayed the course of the interview. A man in his position should know exactly what's expected by his stage in the career. This tarnishes his image as it displays him to be childish and could potentially ruin future sponsors or deter future sponsors. Oh, not to leave me. Sorry. Social media written. Here we can see Wayne Rooney's Instagram page. And this is the written side of social media. If I could just zoom in. So he says, important 3 points last night, brilliant to see Theo Walcott on the score sheet and Seamus back playing. Good support at Goodison Park. It is important that he stated this because it involves interaction with the fans. Also, welcomes their new signing Theo Walcott, and welcomes back Seamus Coleman, who had been out prior to injury. Factors to consider whilst in communication. TV. Be knowledgeable of the audience you're reaching. If you know that you're going on before the 9 p.m. watershed, you have to be careful of your language. Always be careful of your language anyway. Dress formally, so you look presentable and acceptable by many, and you can also be perceived as a role model by younger fans. And be mentally ready, just so if they ask you any questions out of the blue, you can deal with them. Social media. What goes on the internet always stays on the internet. For example, Jamie Vardy wrote a tweet 5 years ago slating gay people. It came back to bite him after Leicester won the Premier League in 2015. Words and pictures can be twisted, and you have to remember, once it's on social media, it is for everybody to see. In the public, when you're out and about, you must act with decorum, and you must know how to deal with unexpectancies. People might run up to you, and you might not be in the best mood, but you can't always show that, because if they see you or you present a mood to them which is hostile, they could run to the press and explain how you behave towards them. Sponsorships can be terminated at any time, so you must be careful about your opinions you hold towards your sponsors. So be careful about when you state your opinions to maybe friends and families, because they could go and tell the press as well. Planning for visual interviews. You must be prepared. If there's any current affairs or current events you may be involved in, you should be prepared to answer them if they are going to ask you about that. Your posture must stand upright, and so it looks as if you are engaged with them. Again, subject planning as well. They may or may not send you a brief kind of script of what you will be talking about during the interview, and it would be good if you could have it, or maybe just ask one as an athlete, to minimise chances of you stuttering and seeming nervous and unprepared. Career planning. After your sporting career, you will need ways of having sustainable income. After sports, you won't be earning £100,000 a week. So a lot of ex-footballers go into the job of being a football pundit, which still pays very, very good money, and you are still very, very regularly involved in football. Bankruptcy is very common amongst injured footballers, and so is depression. If you were to be injured out of the blue, because you never know when these things can happen, and you could be determined never ever able to play again, there goes your main source of income. And if you have devoted your whole life to football, there's nothing else, there's no other skill set you have in order for you to earn money. Goal setting helps you reach a certain target within a certain time period, and a technique for goal setting is SWOT: strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and time bound. So, the person that I'll be doing a SWOT analysis on is Rion in football. Strength is his ability, motivation, and his organisation. His weaknesses are communication, fitness, and strength, physical strength. Opportunities are the team he's at, the facilities that he's able to use, and the opportunities given onto him by coaches. Threats: money, injury, and age. His short-term goal was to improve fitness, medium-term goal was to condition his body, and his long-term was to sign a professional contract. Short-term being 1 day to 30 days, or 31, medium-term being 1 to 6 months, and his long-term being 6 to 12. Smart targets. His specific will be running more, which will improve his aerobic fitness, be measurable, and he can do multi-stage fitness tests at the beginning of the 1 day, and at the end of the 30 days, 31 days, do it again to see how check his progress, basically. They're achievable and realistic, and the time bound is a short one. Method of improving that weakness. You can track progress by self and externally determining his ability to cope aerobically during his matches. By self-determining, he can see how he is maybe at 60 minutes, the 60-minute mark of a football match, and he can see from his manager as well, if he asks him to observe his fitness and his energy levels at that time, his manager can then give an external opinion on Rion's fitness. Sports physiology, which is the career that Rion would want to go into as a backup plan. In order to become a sports physiotherapist, you must obtain a physiotherapy degree. Minimum entry requirements are 3 A-levels at grade C and above, including a biological science. You must withhold 5 A-star to C GCSE. The degree course lasts 3 years. You can expect to start on a wage of 17 grand, and at the top end of your career, you can receive £35,000 a year. Smart targets. It's specific. Smart targets are to improve grades, so he has a better likelihood of being accepted into his chosen university. Measurable is to set targets with his grades, hand in homework, and things like that. Definitely achievable and realistic to get 3 A-levels at the grade C and above, and the time bound is a school year, so it's a long-term goal because a school year lasts about 9 months. So.